The world has seen stealth bombers before. It has seen drones. It has seen hypersonic missiles, nuclear submarines, aircraft carriers. All of IT. But what the United States allegedly unleashed near Iran recently is different. Because according to military analysts, leaked satellite imagery, radar anomalies, and intelligence chatter. This thing wasn't just advanced, it looked impossible. For years, people believed America's most classified military projects were hidden deep inside black budget programs, so secret that even Congress barely knew they existed. But now, something may have slipped out, and if the reports are true, it changes modern warfare forever. What happened over Iran wasn't supposed to be seen by the public, not by civilians, not by foreign intelligence. Maybe not even by America's allies, yet somehow people noticed. It started with strange radar activity. Detected near the Persian Gulf, military tracking systems reportedly picked up objects moving in patterns. That made absolutely no sense. Too fast, too smooth, too controlled, and then suddenly gone. No heat signature. No confirmed visual, nothing. At first, experts thought it was a system malfunction. But then more reports started appearing. Pilots described unidentified objects operating without traditional flight behavior. Defense insiders hinted that a next-generation platform had been deployed for surveillance operations near Iranian airspace. And that's when the internet exploded, because online military communities started connecting the dots. Two rumors that have existed for decades. Rumors about a classified American aerospace program, so advanced that many people believed it belonged in science fiction. A project hidden behind layers of secrecy inside the Pentagon. A project supposedly capable of near-invisible reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and movement patterns. Unlike anything publicly acknowledged. Now, listen carefully. None of this has been officially confirmed. But what makes this story terrifying is how believable it suddenly became. Because America has done this before. The world didn't know about the stealth bomber until it was suddenly revealed. The world didn't know about advanced spy satellites until decades later. And many technologies people laughed at years ago eventually became reality. So the question becomes, what if this is simply the next step? What if the United States has been operating technology generations ahead of what the public knows? And what if Iran was one of the first place, where it was quietly tested in real-world conditions? Think about it. Iran is one of the most heavily monitored regions on Earth. You have US forces, Iranian defense systems, Russian intelligence assets, Chinese surveillance interests, Israeli monitoring networks. The skies over that region are watched constantly. So if something appeared there that confused radar operators and triggered intelligence chatter, it had to be extraordinary. And some analysts believe that's exactly why it happened there. Not as a mistake, but as a message, a silent demonstration, or warning. Because in modern warfare, psychological dominance matters just as much as missiles. Sometimes the scariest weapon is the one your enemy doesn't fully understand. Imagine being unable to track something. Unable to predict it, unable to stop it. That fear alone changes military strategy. And according to multiple defense discussions online, the alleged platform may not just be stealthy. It may be designed to control the entire electronic battlefield around it, meaning radar disruption, signal interference, electronic deception, the ability to appear somewhere and disappear instantly. Now, if that sounds unbelievable, remember since 20 years ago, drones seemed futuristic. Now they dominate battlefields worldwide. Technology evolves faster than most people realize, especially military technology hidden inside trillion-dollar defense systems. And this is where the story gets even stranger, because some observers pointed out that unusual military flight activity reportedly increased around the same time, refueling aircraft, reconnaissance support, naval positioning. It looked less like a normal patrol and more like preparation for something sensitive, something classified, something nobody wanted photographed. Then came the satellite speculation. Certain images circulating online appeared to show triangular shadows, or unusual aircraft silhouettes on remote runways linked to US operations in the region. Again, nothing officially verified, but enough to fuel massive debate. Was this a next-generation stealth drone, a hypersonic reconnaissance platform, an experimental electronic warfare aircraft, or something even more advanced? Some believe it could be connected to rumored black projects that aviation enthusiasts have whispered about for years. Programs supposedly designed to dominate future wars before they even begin. And here's what makes all of this genuinely unsettling. The US military budget for classified programs is enormous. Billions upon billions of dollars disappear into projects the public never sees. That means somewhere, behind secured hangars and underground facilities. Technology is being developed years ahead of public disclosure. History proves that the SR-71 Blackbird looked impossible when it was revealed. The F-117 stealth fighter changed warfare forever. Even the B-2 Spirit still looks futuristic decades later. So imagine what exists now. Imagine what has stayed hidden. And imagine what happens when a rival nation suddenly realizes America may possess capabilities it cannot counter. That alone can shift global power overnight. Now here's where things become dangerous. Iran has spent years strengthening its missile systems, drone programs, and regional military influence. Tensions between the US and Iran have repeatedly pushed the world close to escalation. So if Washington truly deployed something highly classified near Iranian territory, it may have been meant to send a direct strategic signal, not through speeches, not through sanctions, but through presence. A reminder that the most powerful weapons are often the ones nobody talks about publicly. And the craziest part, we may never know the truth. Because if such technology exists, it would likely remain buried inside layers of military secrecy for years, maybe decades. That's how black programs work. People deny them, dismiss them, call them conspiracies, until one day the government casually reveals them after they're already outdated, and by then something even more advanced already exists in the shadows. That possibility alone is enough to make people uneasy, because it forces a disturbing question. How much of modern military power is hidden from the public? What technologies are already operational that would completely shock ordinary people? Artificial intelligence warfare? Autonomous strike systems? Near-space surveillance platforms? Advanced cyber weapons? Capable of shutting down entire infrastructures? The future of warfare may already be here. We just haven't thought of it yet. And maybe that's exactly the point. Fear of the unknown has always been one of the strongest forms of power. Now, before we continue, if you're fascinated by secret military technology, geopolitical mysteries, and stories the mainstream barely talks about, hit subscribe right now. Because the next video we're working on might be even crazier than this one, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. Now back to Iran. Some analysts believe the entire incident may also have been designed to test reactions. How quickly would radar systems respond? Could foreign intelligence detect it? Would satellite networks track it? Would Iran publicly acknowledge anything unusual? In other words, the mission may not have been about attack at all. It may have been about data collection, observation, psychological pressure, and strategic signaling. That's the new battlefield. Not just bombs and bullets, information, confusion, dominance without firing a single shot, and honestly, that's what makes this story so gripping. Because it sits right on the line between reality and secrecy, between confirmed military capability and hidden technological evolution. The truth is, governments rarely reveal their strongest cards, especially superpowers, and when they do, it's usually intentional, calculated, controlled. So if something extraordinary really appeared over or near Iran, the world probably only saw a tiny glimpse of it. Just enough to spark rumors, just enough to send a message, just enough to remind everyone that modern warfare is evolving far beyond what most people imagine. And maybe the most chilling part of all is that somewhere right now, inside highly secured military facilities, engineers are probably already building the next version. Something faster, smarter, more invisible, more power. Something the public won't know exists for another 10 or 20 years. If ever, because the gap between public technology and classified military technology may be far larger than people think. And if that's true, then what allegedly appeared near Iran may not even be America's most advanced secret. It may simply be the one that was allowed to be seen for a moment before disappearing back into the shadows.